This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm here with Dena Adams, LLC. Since 2015, she's been helping entrepreneurs build their business and get unstuck. I am here with the owner, founder, entrepreneur, mother. Thanks for joining us here today. Let's start off really a little bit about yourself. You've been formally educated at the Colorado Christian University. You became a certified accountant. You have worked as a receptionist on the front end. You've worked behind the scenes, crunching numbers. Share with me a little bit how this journey began for you and you decided to start doing this.
Okay, so I actually was owning my own accounting company, and I was, 7 years in maybe, and one summer God just said, time to shut it down. And it was really uncomfortable because I had an opportunity to really double my revenue with one client. And so it was a really difficult thing for me to choose to walk that path and stay in that obedience for myself. And I did. It was like, okay, time to write and speak and teach others. So I spent the rest of the year shutting everything down. And in 2016, I started writing. And that's where this whole journey began.
Kind of a crossroads, and you took the road less traveled, we could say. Let me ask you this. Obviously, at the top of the list when it comes to the American dream, I would have to say that owning your own business is up there. Being an entrepreneur, not only men and women aspire to do this. Why do you think that continues to be so popular?
I think people don't want to work for somebody else. They get tired of spending their 40, 60, 80 plus hours a week building somebody else's dream. And they feel like they're giving up the time with their family. They're sacrificing so much to go work a job. They want to come home and be with their family and really just build their own dream instead of building somebody else's.
When it comes to dreaming, we quickly learn that we cannot will our dream into existence. Mm-hmm. We really need a tangible plan. Now that we open up business and it's competitive out there, why do you think businesses need a tangible plan now more than ever before?
There's too many distractions. It's kind of like you're going down this path and you know exactly where you want to go. You're completely focused, and then the social media happens. And then all the hype and all the events and all the things that you can do for personal development and business development and all the things. And we start to freak out and think, oh God, I have to have all of these things. And so then we start getting distracted because then all of a sudden we've lost focus of what our mission is and what the actual goal is that we're working towards. And the other piece of that, I think, we think that entrepreneurship is a destination. Mm-hmm. It's actually a lifestyle.
Oh, wow.
It's a journey. It's a constant. It's not something where you're going to do, okay, I'm going to do this for 5 years and I'm done. And I think that's the misconception is I'm going to do this so I can live my life however I want. And people think they can hit that in 5 years and they're done working. And that's for a lot of people, maybe for the top 2%.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, it's not like that.
No, not at all. I mean, they say if you want something done to ask a busy person. I would have to say the entrepreneur has to be one of the busiest out there. They are juggling multiple things at a time. They've got plates spinning everywhere. Is this something that you quickly learn that you either have to figure out a strategy to master this or you fail? And is that really where you come in?
It is. I think it's where you have to learn to put down the plates. And there's so much about multitasking that we can do all the things as parents, as spouses, as entrepreneurs. We can multitask everything. In actuality, we're just struggling so much to even accomplish something. And so it's a matter of putting down the plates and slowing down or even stopping to reevaluate so you can set a solid foundation in yourself, in your business, because as an entrepreneur, you are your business. They're one and the same, and so many times people try to separate them. And so if we just slow down and take a step back and do the evaluation quarterly, sometimes even weekly, to really set the systems in place, the processes in place that we need to make sure we're staying on task and to not get sucked into all the busy work. Right? Because we do. I'm really good at that. That's one of my downfalls. That's where I get stuck the most is all the busy work because I can do that. But it's when it's going beyond that and you don't have a sounding board. You're not working with other people. You're sitting here by yourself in your office all the time, and you don't maybe have the support. You may not have the accountability. And so it's all of those factors that come into play, and people think it's one thing. They think they're stuck with one thing.
Right.
And so it's just a matter of having the right people in place for you, the right support system, having the right systems in place in the right order, at the right times, for the right goals, and not getting sidetracked by what everybody else may be doing because it's working for them.
Interesting. I mean, like you say, people are doing things, busy work all day long, putting their nose to the grindstone, never even looking up and seeing really where they're going. I mean, do you think this getting stuck, if you will, is pretty common? Have you experienced that quite a bit as you speak to entrepreneurs and business owners?
I do. I think people believe that they're the only one that gets stuck. Oh, and when we see people like Tony Robbins or Priscilla Shirer or Joyce Meyer or Peng Joon, and they're crushing everything every day, they don't realize the team they have behind them and where they started. They started out just like we did, and they get stuck even making 8-9 figures more a year. They still get stuck in things too, but they have a support system in place. They have processes and systems in place so they can step back, do what they need to do, and they know that that's an important process, and they implement that into everything that they do. As when we're here starting out, we're in the first year of our business, the first 5 years of our business, or we're pivoting our business, like with the situation we're in right now, we think that we are the only one getting stuck, and so the negative self-talk comes in. And we start to feel like we're failing, and we start to have doubt, and all these other things creep in.
Or like Tony Robbins would say, self-sabotage, and it happens to the best of us.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, for these entrepreneurs that are going through these frustrations and challenges, it's lonely at the top. Do you think it is important for them to have an outside source, someone that's not in their inner circle, to give them some new perspective to lead them?
Yes, I think it's dire. When you hear, and I know everyone hears this, but you are like who you spend the most time with. So the 5 people you spend the most time with are the most important to you. And when I started this journey, the 5 people I spent the most time with was my kids and my husband, because we have 5 kids and I'm married. So it's a matter of choosing who you're letting pour into you. So for me, when I started, it was YouTube, it was books, it was podcasts, and choosing where I spent my most time and what my external support system looked like outside of my inner circle that could feed into me and help me see what we couldn't.
I mean, what you're known for basically is helping people get it done. I mean, get it done. Let's talk about some of these strategies. First of all, accountability. How important is that, making sure that you're keeping them accountable to the vision they have?
I think it's probably one of the most important. And one of the things people ask me for the most is, can you just please hold me accountable? And one of the things I first talk to them about is, number one, accountability is about self-responsibility. And we believe accountability is external. And we look for somebody else to remind us and somebody else to hold that responsibility for us. And so one of the things that I'm really passionate about is helping other people learn what it's like to have that external accountability, so they can start formulating their internal accountability. I don't want them to need me forever.
Right.
I want them to be able to work with me, gain the tools, gain the skills, do the things that they need, and continue to grow so they can go on to those other coaches that they need, and that they can continue to grow beyond that foundational aspect. But if you don't have the foundation of accountability and taking that responsibility for yourself, the rest of it it just seems so much harder.
That is interesting. I mean, not only are you holding them accountable, but you're also providing them the support to do what they need to do. Is that enjoyable for you to be that support system that maybe, like you said, the husband or the kids really can't provide for you in that type of situation?
I love it. I just have such a heart for helping people. And one of the things that lacks in this entrepreneurial space is someone who actually truly gets excited for your goals and excited for your achievement and claps for you when your back is turned. And I get all emotional about it. There's just not a lot of people who do that. They say it to your face, but then there's the jealousy and there's all the things that come up. And for me, I think everyone has a right to be cheered for and to be supported and to be encouraged and to know that they matter and their vision and their gifting and what they're here and called to do is important. So it's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, obviously, definitely where your passion lies. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. These businesses aren't built in a day. Even ourselves aren't built in a day. Do you think it's important for you to push them into continuing their education, learning more all the time, and constantly improving?
I think it's important to continue learning. It's a matter of what they're learning. If you're constantly in consumption mode, it's like this information constipation, and then all of a sudden you have no creativity. You're not able to get out what is inside of you to pour into others. And I think it's really important to be very strategic about what you're learning. One of the most important things I think is important to learn about is yourself. It's the self-discovery. It's the really digging deep into why you do anything.
Exactly.
What your reactions are, why you respond the way you do, why you feel the way you do about things, because that's where the growth comes. And if you are not growing, neither will your business.
If the why is big enough, then the other parts can fall into place and you can put things together. And like you said, I mean, learning is important, but at the same time, you can read books on business for the rest of your life and only have a bunch of books.
Right.
And never have a business, which is important. Let me ask you this. You mentioned before about a foundation. Not only building a foundation for today, but basically a foundation for the future so that when growth does come, you're ready. Do you feel that's important to lay that base for them?
I do. It's kind of like thinking about trying to build a house on sand. If there's no foundation that's made for the sand, it's just going to sink every time the wave comes in. Every time you're hit with something,
Sure.
You're just going to get weaker and weaker, and things are going to start to crumble. And so I think a lot of people think they have a good solid foundation because they think they've done everything everybody's ever told them. The problem is they haven't really made sure that foundation works for them. They haven't made sure that the foundation they've set is what's best for the business they are growing. If it's best for their mission, if it's best for the people they're serving. We spend a lot of time working on implementing everything everybody's ever told us. And we don't take the time to sit back and weed out what we don't need and what isn't right for us because we're so afraid we're going to be wrong. But it's probably the best thing because that's where you learn what does this need to look like? Because if you don't have a solid foundation that works for your business and your direction, no matter what you build on it, it's going to crumble.
As a female entrepreneur, obviously there are many women out there that want to be an entrepreneur, but to me it seems like if a man decides to be an entrepreneur, that's his sole focus. He's jamming. A female does this and the home life doesn't stop. and they've got to focus on this and focus on that at the same time. Do you feel they have unique challenges as they're putting a business together? And is that something that you had experience with that you're able to kind of guide them?
I maybe have a little bit of different perspective on this. I think it's perceived that that's the only thing they have to do because men are expected to hold it all together, to never show that it's a problem, and to act like everything's fine. And so I don't think that it's actually much different for men and women. It's just whatever our roles are, because every household is different.
Sure.
Whatever that family life looks like. I had the opportunity to not only work from home and be a stay-at-home mom and all the things in the course of the last 20 years of my marriage, but not everybody has that. Some moms, like wives and husbands, are both working on entrepreneurship.
Sure.
And they both have their roles at home. They both still have to be parents. They both still have to be a spouse. And I think there's a misconception that women have it so much harder than men because of their roles at home. I think in society, we have a belief that women are supposed to take care of the home, men are supposed to work. And even though we're in 2021, I think that's really coming back with a force. And so women are met with more resistance in building a business, and it's more acceptable when it comes to men. I don't know that it's so much the roles we play at home because every marriage. If it's
Sure.
a decision, if you're going to go into this, it's a conversation. Are you going to support me in this?
So you would basically say perception is everything.
Absolutely.
I mean, everything, and everyone has their own reality, and so you can't try to fit into someone else's role. Let me ask you this: if you, as people out there that are entrepreneurs, you said it's noisy, it's busy. I mean, do you get excited when they get a clarity moment and actually realize, I never even realized this was important to me, and wow, it kind of shot me in a whole different direction?
It's kind of a bittersweet for me because as excited as they are for that clarity, it's one step closer to them maybe realizing that what they're doing isn't what they really want. Because as we grow and we have clarity around things and we have this whole new internal awareness along with the external awareness and all the things that happen when we are growing as a person, we may realize, ooh, I may not like what I'm doing now. Now what's going to happen? This is my livelihood. And so it does get me so excited for them because there's a relief. And at the same time, it's important to also keep in mind that this is just one breakthrough. This is one moment of clarity. And this isn't the end all be all of what your business is going to be. That's about. I mean, this is a journey. You're going to have tons of clarity moments. You're going to have a lot of aha moments. As long as you keep growing and you keep working on yourself, those are going to continue to happen. And so for people to believe that I just need this one clarity moment and everything's going to be okay,
Never.
It doesn't work that way.
No, there's no magic bullet
No.
that we say. It's not a magic bullet. Obviously, entrepreneurs are busy. For us just to set aside this time, consistency is so important. Tell me how you're able to basically help the most amount of people with all the resources you provide.
Yeah, so when COVID hit, I actually lost all of my one-on-one client base because I work with newer, younger entrepreneurs, usually in the first 1 to 5 years of business or in a pivoting season. So investing in all the things isn't always an option. But what they really need is a sounding board. They need support, they need accountability, they need resources, and they need education. And so what I decided to do was put together a membership space for them. So I just felt like in the season that we're in, people need to do it when they have the time. And
Sure.
so now it's a membership space where they can come in, they get accountability, they get support. I do live calls with them. It's not just a place where they're just going to go in and watch a whole bunch of videos.
Right.
Every couple weeks I drop a new training in there for them. And like I said, it's brand new, so it's only got a few trainings in there, and we're just really developing that
Sure.
right now. But I really am hopeful that it's going to be like a home base for people. So even though I really want them to not need me at some point, they need community. They need
Sure.
support, and they still need that accountability. And for people who even haven't been able to show up at the lives, they're like, I love having the accountability there. I love having the community there. I love knowing that I can just come back to it when my life allows me to. And that it's kind of like a security for them, for the people that have already started. And so I decided to really shift my focus into that so I can serve them better.
And what's even better is you're available 24/7 at their fingertips. It's easy accessibility, and obviously membership has its benefits.
Absolutely.
I think that's gonna work out great. I mean, obviously at the beginning of a journey, you can see the vision. You know the end goal, the big picture, if you will. Yet once we get working into it, we lose sight of that big picture. What you pride yourself on the fact is you're able to see that big picture and really break down some steps every day so that they're working towards that big picture. Is this something that you share almost with every client you work with?
Yeah. It's really important to help them determine their own steps. I think it's really important to encourage them and empower them to look inside themselves because they already have what they need. They just need someone to help them believe in themselves. They need someone to help them dig deeper into themselves, because if we all have a purpose and we all have something that we're working for, we already have what we need inside of us for the next step. We just sometimes need the support. We need the confirmation. We need to figure out how do we find that within ourselves. And as they start to learn those skills and start to take that time to do those things, they start discovering that, oh, I know what to do now. Oh, I know how this is going to look. Oh, I know how this is going to work. And that is, I think, even more important than the clarity because it's helping them feel confident in themselves and their abilities and their knowledge. Because a lot of times, and especially for people who don't have the support of their spouse, I'm so blessed that my husband supports me in everything, but most people don't have that. And so to help them find that confidence in themselves and to be able to support themselves through that and have someone telling them that they're capable when they may not have that at home every day, I think is so powerful.
Your end goal really is about them not relying on you forever, but really learning how to rely on themselves, where the student becomes a teacher and learns to be the master of their own life. As you are able to read some of the reviews, thank you notes maybe from people that you've helped, do you find this to be more than just a career for you? I mean, do you find this to be almost a calling where you're not giving just people peace of mind, but really kind of an inner peace for themselves?
I think it just gives me peace that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If I'm here to help others see the greatness in themselves, and they're telling me that they're discovering that, then I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
That's excellent. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen. What you're going to see is her website. First of all, on the website, learn more basically about her past, where she's able to help you decide what it is that is important to you. Really important. You can check out her blog as well. Trying to keep you apprised of resources, tips out there that can help you. But really the best way is to set up a consultation, find out if this is something that would work for you. As we get ready to gear up and get business going again, it is important to make sure you're going in the right direction. Many of us paused, and this is a great time to maybe take a new direction. Once again, that is Dena Adams, LLC, located right here in Fort Collins. And just remember that entrepreneurship, it's not a destination, but it's a journey, and she is basically to help you here go in that journey. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.